The URC is back for the latest season, folks. With 8 games played at the weekend, I am still very much in rugby championship mode. Box and All Blacks, Wallabies, Pumas, but the URC was back. 8 games. I've caught up on some of them. It was a pretty hectic weekend, as I said, with rugby championships still going. Women's World Cup final on, and like Chile playing Samoa for the penultimate spot at the 2027 Men's Rugby World Cup. But I did catch up on some URC as well. I was particularly keen to see how some of the new coaches, like Coach Ackerman at the Bulls and Coach McMillan at Munster, how these guys would go. You know, Lancaster with Connacht. So, yeah, some interesting results. We'll go through them pretty quick, and you guys can let us know how things are looking. Remembering it's still very early days, and a lot of teams are missing some pretty big players, British and Irish Lions players, Springboks players, and whatnot. So, still early days. I am going to have a little bit of a moan at the end. I'll save the negativity for the end about some stuff I still think the URC is not doing that well on. But we'll start with the positive stuff, which was the rugby on the field. Stormers Leinster. Well, it's not a positive one if you're a Leinster fan, but 35-0 for the Stormers. Bonus point win. Pretty impressive. 6-0 at half-time, which is a little bit surprising. I mean, the Stormers had missed chances, missed a couple of penalties, missed a drop goal. They had a maul try chalked off. They had Simulanes. He scored a spectator try, which was kind of called back, but only 6-0. Second half, they did get enough tries to get themselves a bonus point. Was it 4 or 5 in the end? First one to Ungara from a Prendergast kick, which just got pounced on by Sanatla. And they got a maul try. They got another maul try. It didn't help for Leinster. They got yellow cards. Deegan got one. O'Brien got one for it was Tommy O'Brien for a dangerous tackle, which kind of a 2-man tackle, but yeah, a couple of yellow cards meant they had 13 guys on the field for a while. Mati got one for the backs at the end for the Stormers. His kicking from the tee had been a bit hit and miss at times during that game, but yeah, dummy pass between two forwards is always a nice look for the backs after it's been all the forwards getting the maul tries and whatnot. So yeah, pretty comfortable win in the end for the Stormers. They were pretty good value for it. They bossed at scrum time, had 60% possession. Leinster missed 32 tackles to the Stormers 17, and they conceded 16 penalties to the Stormers 9. Stormers a good value for the win, but like I say, it's such early days, it's really hard to read too much into that game. Ryan Baird still made 13 tackles. Evan Roos had 64 metres for the Stormers. Sanatla, 9 defenders beaten at 76 metres. He was really high energy around the park, but certainly a good way for the Stormers to start their season. It's probably a good time to draw Leinster, to be honest. First game of the season, when all their British and Irish Lions guys are still not available. So, yeah, good time to pick up some points. Glasgow and the Sharks played out a win for the Glasgow lads, 35-19. Early tries both ways in this one. Matthews, speaking of tries which got chalked off, he had a couple of tries TMO'd at maul time, so he'll not be happy with that, especially seeing as Rory Darge got a maul try in the second half, which didn't get TMO'd, so he was having no luck with the TMO, but it was like a close one. Evel van der Merwe, you know, playing for the Sharks now, he was looking very, very sharp, very busy. He scored a try early as well, so 14 points to 12 at halftime. Still a pretty game-on kind of game, but as I said, Glasgow did get their maul try going. Evel van der Merwe and Lucanio combined for one of the best tries of the game. Those guys were, as I said, kind of looking pretty sharp, and yeah, Jamie Dobby ends up getting the bonus point try for the Glasgow lads. Penalty try at the death. Sharks, couple of yellow cards, certainly not helpful. But again, it's the penalty count. 16 penalties, same as what Leinster had in their game. It's hard to win a game when you're under the pump that much. 8 penalties conceded by Glasgow. Matt Fagerson, 18 tackles. He has still missed the high work rate. Van der Merwe for the Sharks. 4 defenders beaten, couple of clean breaks. Gets himself on the scoreboard. But yeah, we'll see how the Sharks can regroup. It's always kind of hard to start on the road, but for Glasgow, good home win to start their campaign as well. Ulster, who were disappointing last year, got a win over the Dragons. I don't know how much to read into this one because the Dragons were pretty terrible last year, but boy, did they have a good start in this game. Literally the first minute, pretty much from the kickoff, Aaron Wainwright ended up scoring from a loose kickoff, and then it became a very tit-for-tat game. Izichuku got one from close range. Rossa got one from a nice Dragons grubber kick. So it was, yeah, proper back and forth. But how good was it to see Mikey Lowry in some space and getting the footwork going? There was only a couple of years ago he was, playing for Ireland. But that's a hard squad to get into. But man, Mikey Lowry, when he's in full flight, is an absolute joy to watch. His pass to McCann was a pretty lovely one, although was it the one that was a little bit potentially forward, but it was still given. He had a nice offload for Zach Ward as well. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. They had a bonus point by halftime. It was 28-14. Second half, 3 tries, so more scoring in the first half than the second in that one. Possession finishes 64-36, so kind of pretty dominant in that area for the Ulster lads. Defenders beaten 21-8 for Ulster. Clean breaks 8-2 for Ulster. So, if anything, I think they'll be disappointed to concede 3 tries. But we will see. We will see. Very early days. Lowry, 5 defenders beaten. Ward had a bunch of run meters. Shane Lewis-Hughes got himself a try for the Dragons and had like 20 tackles. So, good work rate from him. But, yeah, a loss to start their season. But for the Ulster guys, a positive way. As I said, after the last season, not kind of finishing all that well. The Bulls and the Ospreys, that's a high-scoring game. 53 points to 40. And it was the away guys, just like the Dragons game, who got the early tries. Like Keelan Giles and Williams got one early for the Ospreys. So 2-try lead, but the Bulls evened it up. This game was nuts. There's just so many tries. This guy, ULSvDRA, he looks pretty sharp. I don't think I've seen him play before. Was it his debut? Cheswell ULSvDRA. He's got some gas. Could be a potential guy to watch throughout the season. I'll be watching him with interest. But the Bulls showing some kind of nice hands. And some of the veterans as well, like Nico Janssen van Rensburg, Jan Serfontein back with the Bulls, combining for a nice try. Both teams end up with bonus points. Like the Ospreys guys scored some nice tries as well. Like Giles got 2. Kieran Williams got 2. Walsh's one. That one was a proper beaut, where they went out wide to who's the flanker for the Ospreys and then offload back in field. There were some nice tries in this game. Very, very nice tries. This may be one of the games to watch, like if you just want to see a bunch of nice tries. I mean, some more tries as well. Like Johan Grobber gets a hat-trick in this game, the Bulls hooker. So, yeah, heaps of tries. At this one, the Bulls will be happy that they got bonus point. They had a bunch of possession and territory. They'll not be happy how vulnerable they were to line breaks, though. The Ospreys line broke them 8-5, which is encouraging for the Ospreys, for them. But as I said, this guy used a couple of tries, 87 meters. Giles had 73 meters, a couple of clean breaks, a couple of tries. So, yeah, pretty bonkers game, that one. ZEBvEDI got a late winner up against Edinburgh. It was literally like the last minute or so. They kicked a penalty from a scrum penalty as well. I didn't watch this game in full, but yeah, scrum penalty. The commentary team alluded to the fact that the ZEBvEDI scrum had been under the pump, but that's the one time they won a penalty to win it at the death. The ZEBvEDI guys at home. To be fair, they were up early. They had a red card to Licata, but they were up with a couple of tries. Edinburgh did well to come back during a 20-minute red card for Licata. And then Fusco ended up getting a bonus point try after JC had one as well for ZEBvEDI. And then Edinburgh again kind of brought the score back to even. Harrison got a try in 75 minutes to even it up, but then 78th minute scrum penalty conceded. And it's not an easy kick, but ZEBvEDI guys nail it for a late winner. Di Bartomeu had 13 tackles. Defenders beaten was 20-8 to the ZEBvEDI lads. So seems on paper like they were pretty good value. Husson had the only clean break for Edinburgh in the game and had 56 meters. So it seemed to be kind of a tough one to get into some space for the Edinburgh lads for that one, but they'll get a losing bonus point if nothing else. Munster and the Scarlets. Munster get the only away win of the week in the rain over in Wales, 34-21. And I was really curious to see how Clayton McMillan was going to go with this Munster side. It seems like he wants the boys to play. They were chucking it around a lot. Like, Casey got an early one, sniping from the side of a maul, but, I mean, they were just playing quick, spinning it like Abrahams, Daly, Haley. These guys were all getting themselves into some space. They had, a 13-0 lead. There was a cracking try-saver from Jack O'Donoghue on McLeod, which saved a potential Scarlets early score, but 13-0 Munster at halftime, looking pretty comfortable. Crowley comes on to start the second half. They score another try, 20-0 lead, so it's looking hunky-dory from a Munster perspective, but Costello and Blair Murray combined for a nice one for the Scarlets. Get them on the board. Nankerville and Kelly combined for a nice one for Munster. So some good combinations from both sides. But yeah, the Scarlets guys did chase the game. They were chasing that fourth try. Like Plumtree got an intercept. Alice Mee got one from a kick. Ahern got one as well which started with a nice 50-22 for Munster. But yeah, I like the look of Munster. It'll be interesting to see if this play keeps up as the weather gets worse. But this was played in the rain. They were still looking to chuck it round. Early season stuff. A few kind of nothing TMO checks in this game. Like stoppages, which ended up either in no call at all. Maybe just a penalty, which is, I don't know, it's not ideal, but didn't take away too much from the game. Scarlets had a bit more possession and territory for sure, but Munster's run meters, 477 to 247. Clean breaks, 10 to 4. They will be happy with that. As again, the penalty count they won't be happy with. They conceded 14 to the Scarlets. 8. Haley, 7 defenders beaten. Sharp for Munster. Blair Murray still looks sharp though. 7 defenders beaten for him as well. But yeah, we will see. We will see. Munster's defence had to hold through a heap of phases at times during this game, so they'll at least be pleased with that. Cardiff and the Lions. This is the only Welsh win for the week, 33-20. Bit of a tit-for-tat game where there was a red card for Cardiff and a 20-minute red. And like the the Lions were in the lead to start the second half, like on the 48th minute. But the Cardiff forwards were able to go to work and get some more tries going. I mean, Ben Thomas scored one pretty early on. It was nice to get the Cardiff backs going, but he got red carded for a clean out, which, I don't know, it didn't seem like a red card from the angle I saw of it, but they upgraded it to red. But yeah, Ben Thomas and Cam Winnett got on the board early for them. Ron Fenter got one for the Lions. And the second half, when Stennekamp got his try, Lions were in the lead, but as I said, the Cardiff forwards got 3 through Alex Mann, and Evan Lloyd bagged a couple to get them the bonus point, get them back in the lead. And yeah, as I say, a win for the Cardiff lads. Clean break 8-2 to Cardiff. The number 8, Alan Lawrence, had like 53 metres for Cardiff, so it's not a bad shift. And yeah, Cardiff fans will go home happy enough with that one. The Lions don't get any points out of that one, despite the fact that they were in the game for long periods. And then Connacht. I was really keen to see how Lancaster would go as coach for this one. And his side, they were playing some nice slick moves as well. It looks like the new stand must be almost done over in Galway, which will be pleasing to see once they get, all the bums back on the seats when that thing is fully good to go. But yeah, some slick Connacht moves for the first two, Josh Ioane and this guy Nocton. Yeah, really, really pleasing. Very, very, very slick stuff. Ratave was tackled into touch, which was an unfortunate one for the Benetton guys in their game, which they lost, as I said, 26-15. But yeah, Connacht, 12-3 lead at halftime. They were pushed, like Menicello had a big carry, which led to a liner try, made it 12-8. But Connacht were able to hit pretty much straight back. Tierney Martin got one, and Janssen got one. There was one at the death through Alessandro Garbisi. So Connacht pretty comfortable largely the entire game in terms of their lead. They had 24 defenders beaten, which is some encouraging stuff. Cal Ford, 74 metres, 6 defenders beaten. Dude is still sharp. But Benetton love an offload. 13 of them in that game. But yeah, Connacht and Ulster in particular, I was keen to see how they would go. As I said, after kind of disappointing seasons last year, they have at least opened up their account positively. Now, I want to have a little bit of a moan. It's kind of a first world problem situation, but there's a new streaming service for the URC this season. If you guys are on like Premier Sports or like Super Sport or whatever, you won't even notice. But me in New Zealand, there's no broadcaster here for the URC, so they've got their own in-house product. And you can't even pause the game. It's live or nothing. Which, well, there is replays up to an hour after the game. Like I got up to watch the Sharks in Glasgow, and I still have my subscription running from last year, which has got about a week to go. And I was about 20 minutes late. I was like, oh, it's okay, I'll catch up. But you can't catch up. There's no pause. Well, if you pause it, when you resume it, it just zooms back forward to where the live action is at. So, I don't know. Like, That's kind of not good in 2025. I was going to use a swear, but I'll keep the swears out. It's pretty standard on every sports streaming platform. I've used tons of them. You can always rewind, go back, start from the beginning, skip forward, fast forward, rewind. It's live or nothing, or then you got to wait at least an hour for the replay to come up. Like when I was watching the Glasgow Sharks game, the Leinster Stormers game, you couldn't see the replay. It hadn't been uploaded yet. And I believe the streaming service they are using does have the capability for it, but I assume, this is a big old assumption, that the URC's just gone for the cheapest option, which is just live only. Live only sucks. I know this is a first world problem, and like back in the day, you only watched stuff on TV and you didn't have the option to pause. I'm old enough to remember those days, but those days are gone. If my kids come and say, Dad, can I have breakfast? I'm used to being able to, I'll pause that, make you breakfast, come back, and I'll get back to the game. You know, if it's club rugby, if it's not a massive test match, which is, you know, super high priority, I'm quite happy to manage things around that. So that feels like they're skimping on that, and the highlights still suck. The highlights, that's like your ad for the game. I know you can take the attitude that, well, if we make the highlights too good, no one's going to want to sign up to watch the real product. I don't think that's the right attitude. The attitude is we want the highlights to be as attractive a product as possible so that more people watch the games. The highlights are not good. They are like 5 minutes long, which in most cases is not really long enough to tell the story of the match. And it's just awkwardly cut. Like they cut off the commentators' lines mid-flow. They miss key moments. In previous seasons, I think they were worse than the ones I watched this week for the ones I caught up on the highlights, but the highlights are still not very good. Yeah, URC doing a lot of things right, but I feel like they're skimping on their online product, which is not an area that you should be like, this is an area we can cut costs on. Just my 2 cents. Anyway, overall, I enjoyed the games, but I didn't enjoy their streaming service, which is as useful as a pirated stream, which you can just watch online if you're inclined to do so. You know what I mean? Like live only. Anyway, I'll stop complaining. I did enjoy the rugby. This is only a tiny little negative on what was overall a very positive round of rugby. I look forward to seeing how round 2 goes and how the teams change and shift as the big guns come back. We'll get the power rankings going once we get a few more games in the bag. But yeah, you guys let us know your thoughts. Who do you think's looking sharp? And how do you think things are going to go? Take care of yourselves, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.